This sounds pretty interesting. Fuck it.
This is a fire lookout, hidden deep in Washington's Cascades, miles from civilization, and overlooking an active volcano. I want to tell you a story about how we got...
I went through a door I wasn't supposed to, so then it soft locked my game. Yep, pretty cool.
Got here, but more importantly about how this tower got here, and the man who's living inside...
I tried loading checkpoints multiple times. I tried closing the game and reopening it. Yep, tried validating my files. Nothing. Cooked.
But this story doesn't start in the Cascades. It starts in my own backyard, North Carolina. The mountains
That's
are
what I'm
smaller
saying,
here,
Chucky.
and none of them are volcanoes, but they're still more than beautiful enough to get me outside. As I spent more time outside, I kept ending up at these lookouts. They've become kind of an obsession of mine. These beautiful structures hidden on mountaintops offering unmatched views of their surroundings. I want to visit as many of these towers as I can, but I also want to find out who built them, when, why, and why did they abandon them?
Damn, this shit's cinematic as hell.
Those questions eventually brought me here, to the northwest, the beautifully imposing landscape where all of this started, over a century ago.
I'm be honest with you, Summer, I don't even know. Home invasion? Purple, if you send me a home invasion video or a movie, I'll watch it. I'm literally going to sleep with a gun every night. No, I have not. I tried playing one Backrooms game, and it made me really pissed off.
Anyone who handles fire in any form is a potential killer. Anyone can start a fire and never even know it. Please be very careful with fire. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Alright, it's summer of 1910 in the Northern Rockies. People are flocking here, cutting trees and building railroads that spew cinders into the forests. The snow's melted early, and summer hasn't brought a drop of rain, but lightning storms have lit thousands of small fires.
I might already have that. But honestly, Envy, I'm down, dude. I'm down at some point. We should have to set it up a couple days beforehand, but I'm definitely down. It might have to wait a little bit, because I'm going to be kind of spacey in February, but I'm definitely down. Home invasion tonight?
And on August 19th,
that's a crime,
a
madam.
massive current of wind blows through these mountains, combining them into a single massive wall of flame. Hundreds of feet high, over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, carried by hurricane-force winds at inescapable speed. This fire consumed
But also, Envy, you're real as fuck for that, bro.
And killed 86 people, more than horrific enough to put it at center stage in outdoor policy. The Forest Service was founded just 5 years prior and was not popular. Congress was squeezing budgets and salaries. Rangers were barely paid, had to buy their own gear, and were threatened and attacked out west. But this fire was an opportunity to prove themselves.
Storm my house? Chat, the only person allowed to storm my house is Lol Jakes and Babex Chucky, okay, dude? Everyone else has to ask beforehand, okay?
Protecting forests was worth it.
Maybe
by preventing this from ever happening again. Their strategy at the time was to eradicate fire from the landscape, putting out any fire as quickly as possible. And they decided to lean into that, with firefighting crews, television PSAs, Smokey Bear, and a massive network of
Smokey
fire
Bear!
lookouts. They constructed thousands of lookouts across the US, and in the 1930s, the Civilian Conservation Corps got involved, constructing many of the lookouts still standing today. A forest ranger or firefighter would live in the tower for months at a time, checking throughout the day for smoke, reporting it, and sometimes even helping.
It depends on the week.
They would literally see a fire, let someone know, and then start bushwhacking through the forest to put it out.
Sure, what?
Pretty wild. But in the 1940s, something changed. The number of active lookouts peaked, and then started to decline. Partially because new technologies could spot and track fires more easily and more accurately, but mostly because the Forest Service realized that trying to eradicate wildfires was a terrible idea in the first place. By preventing forests from burning at all, they had allowed them to fill with dry wood and brush, leaving extra fuel for future fires and combining with a warming climate to cause devastating wildfires in the future. So, since the 1940s, these lookouts have been decommissioned, cleaned out one by one until today, they're all gone.
Bet envy. Or you can do exclamation tags and add me.
At least that's what I thought.
Listen, buddy. Have you ever played Firewatch before? Didn't think so. Yeah, please do, Purple. All of them, please.
Campsite number, we don't need.
We are on our way to meet a pretty interesting person who might have something to tell us about fire lookouts. But to get there, we have to trudge through about 22 miles of
Bet, Purple,
mountains,
bet.
forests.
I gotta cancel my live like fucking Nintendo subscription because I'm not using it.
And ironically, speak of the devil, our previous route to get there was only 13 miles, but it burned in a forest fire earlier this year, and it's closed. So we're taking this long but still very scenic route instead, about 14 miles in.
Dude, how do you be pooping in the woods like this, bro? How do you do that, man? How do you do that? And then you do it, and then you go, I want to do that again. Somebody tell me, man. Somebody tell me.
In 7 or so left to go this morning, but can't complain with views like these. So let's get back to it.
Playing boob games, dude. I've been boob game free for like 2 months now, my boy. Yup. Maybe not 2 months, maybe like a month or a month and a half, but you know, still. Boob game?
First year I came up here, I went out after about a week because there were some tools and things I wanted, and I came back with a really, really heavy pack, and I thought, I don't want to do that again, so I'm going to plan really well and make sure that I've
Oh, dude, this dude's old
got a
and
broad
chill as
side
hell.
of candy bars and top ramen, you know. I'm being a little facetious, but really that's kind of what it turns into.
This is Russ Dalton. He's a retired forest ranger and one of the last active fire lookouts in the world.
What did the career trajectory look like to get here? What context and situation led to becoming one of the only fire lookouts in the world?
Okay, how did I end up here? I had a unique skill set, I guess. And I did a lot of years with the National Park Service sampling all the kind of seasonal jobs. Fire crews, I was an interpreter.
Goddamn.
Doing guided
Summer.
walks,
Goddamn.
and evening programs.
Fuck that
in
noise.
campgrounds, working visitor desks. Worked with youth programs a lot, doing trail work. Did a lot of bridge work too. Had a 10-month job a year working on a trail crew. And then that brought me over here to the Cascades where I worked trail crews. And then got into carpentry with North Cascades National Park.
Dude, whoever's editing this is cooking, I'm not gonna lie.
It was
They're cooking
until
hard
I
tonight, dude.
moved over to the Cascade Range when I was in my 40s and had a chance to work on some fire lookouts. One was the Park Butte lookout. Worked on the Hidden Lake Peak lookout. Carried up.
How old do we think this dude is?
And then another shutter. And then later I visited the Copper Lookout and the Sourdough and the Desolation and had a better understanding of how they were put together. And so felt pretty comfortable taking on this place here. I check in twice a day so that they know I'm alive and well. Having checked in and tidied up the place on myself for the day, then I'll take on whatever
Lucas, I soft locked my shit, bro. I soft locked my shit.
projects that I've lined out.
So I'm
for
cooked. No more
myself.
puppy playtime.
Worked on the tower, mending it where it was cracked and putting plates on it. Dealt with all the shutters. In the case of the inside of the lookout, it hadn't been painted in about 50 years, I think. I took that on, and I repaired the furniture and painted it. I had a roof to put on this year.
A roof?
That took more of my attention. In the course of the day, I would see 10, 20, 30 people come to visit the place. So I would take off my painter's hat and put on my interpreter's hat and just share the story of the lookout, because that's part of the job. You know, it's really a cool place, and it's
Roof!
a fun place
Roof!
to tell people about. Say if there is a smoke that we've spotted and it doesn't appear to be coming from a campground or something, then it would be incumbent to call it in. I would first go to the firefinder and get that data and get a distance and a bearing from here, as well as a place name, so that they can refer to their maps too. In this case, it's more of being a passive observer, not so much the prescribed watching for fires like I had mentioned earlier, where you have to every hour on the hour be looking for smoke.
And that's the thing. Russ isn't really here to look for fires. He explained to us that his main job here is actually keeping an eye on a campground at a nearby lake.
The lake had, like so many alpine places, become very popular.
Furry?
It really took a beating from overuse from camping. And if you've been to a big festival, you know, I'm not saying Burning Man or something, but a big festival or a county fair or a state fair, and the grounds afterward just looked so beat up. Then the Forest Service took stock of things, decided to get a grip on it. Around that time is when fire surveillance changed, and they were using aircraft a lot more and not lookouts. And so this became a place where the wilderness rangers lived.
Chris, are you
and they would
furry?
Go over and dig up plants and move them around and fill in the impacted spots around the lakeshore. These days, to ensure that people aren't starting to camp back over there, having a ranger presence, just somebody to walk over and say hello and answer questions or be available if somebody needs help. So this is a key structure.
Sorry,
for
guys, I'm
people
responding to
live
business emails.
and go over there and patrol and work, as well as monitor
Look out in my
the
backyard.
fires
Brother
along the
man.
trail system. It's two parts of the thing, and the third part is it's a historic structure. There were, I think, 8,000 lookouts in this country at one time, and there are just a handful now. And this one is in remarkably original condition with the same furniture that it should have had.
Dude, this is crazy. Now, do we think, like, people just completely devote themselves to the shit? Like literally, like, I am forever going to be a fire lookout. And also, how did he explain? I was not paying attention because I was reading chatter texting or something. But did he explain how he gets food? Do they do it like Firewatch, where they just fucking land stuff in and then you pick it up? Or do we think he has to, like, hike all the way down, dude? Imagine being that far away from civilization, too, dude. Especially as you get older. Bro, like, oh my God.
And still has. We've worked to restore it, and so it's a great example of
But imagine living there.
a Forest Service lookout from back in the day. In any number of days when I wake up and just look out the windows here, or by moonlight, look out and see Glacier Peak in the moonlight, it's really such a lucky thing to see.
I don't know if I can do this, though, because I'm now horrified from Fears to Fathom. So, yeah. Oh, shit, Envy. That'd be sick, bro. I suck at those games,
After
though.
leaving
Fair
the
warning.
Cascades, we drove south to Mount Rainier to visit two of Washington's other lookouts. These towers exemplify one of my favorite things about these lookouts, that the Forest Service accidentally built some of the coolest hiking destinations imaginable. Fire lookouts were intended to spot fires, so they were built on high peaks with expansive visibility of the surrounding area, which makes for an incredible view. And when the lookouts were staffed, forest rangers needed a way to access them, so the roads and trails are already there. Yeah, no wonder these lookouts are some of the best hikes in the country. A lot of lookouts, including this one, are now part of national parks and forests and are maintained for hiking. And some towers have even become homes and Airbnbs.
Yeah, same summer.
Back up in the Cascades, you can rent the top cab of Haybrook Lookout to spend the night. Those lookouts are popular hiking destinations, but others aren't so lucky. Many are falling into disrepair or being demolished. To me, these towers are skeletons. Gutted, wiry frames, all that remains of a long-forgotten approach to the outdoors, and ready to fade away if we don't take care of them. And that brings me to the tough, inescapable question surrounding fire lookouts. Are they worth saving? Is it worth spending time and money to maintain hundreds of lookouts that aren't actually looking out?
You've had decades of experience working in the outdoors, in national parks, national forests. Are there any significant changes that you've noticed and have been able to observe in the way that we...
I'm trying to see how they lit this shot. With all the light coming in. Definitely log. I wonder if they bounced anything on him. And also I'm trying to figure out if they have a pro mist filter or not.
And environmental
But it doesn't look like there's too much light peeking through.
I can think back, 50 years ago when I was doing backcountry work, and the impact from people was so much. It was just the campfires and the trash. And one of my jobs was to dig garbage pits for people to throw their garbage into, and periodically I'd go back to set it on fire so the bears wouldn't be digging in it so much. And that's how bad it was. To be able to now be in a premier subalpine setting and just not see the impact of people is really
that has to be fire.
Change. Anyway, that's sort of the evolution of stuff that I've seen. It's a pleasing evolution.
Throughout this adventure,
Wait, what do we think those buckets are for? Lanier dinner? Bro got a Gatorade bottle though.
It's a pleasing evolution.
You think he keeps that Gatorade bottle to pee in the middle of the night?
Throughout this adventure, this theme keeps coming up.
Meat leftovers from hikers.
We as individuals have with the outdoors. One of my favorite lookouts back home was almost torn down in the 80s, but a group of local hikers lobbied the Park Service to restore it. Government policy and action is crucial, but ultimately it begins with people being invested. Now, you don't have to lobby the Park Service, and you certainly don't have to go into Russ's line of work, but I hope I've piqued your interest. Perhaps you'll become curious about these places, learn about them, visit them, care about them, and play a small part in keeping them alive. At the very least, you'll get to say you saw them while you still could. These towers were the response to a massive fire, but the response went so much deeper.
This is giving 2017 travel film, but like in a good way.
Than that. This fire didn't just sell people on the Forest Service, but on the very idea of conservation. Within a matter of months, the people, the press, and even Congress were on board. Forestry budgets increased. For the first time, land on the East Coast was protected. Authors depicted forest rangers as heroes. This fire had gotten the country's attention and convinced it that this land is worth more than the industries that want it. The fact of the matter is, a vast network of fire lookouts isn't necessary for spotting fires anymore, and we don't always even need to spot fires anymore.
ASMR? What?
But sometimes that just doesn't matter. Sometimes it isn't about spotting fires, or driving tourism, or harvesting timber. Some places deserve to be protected for their beauty alone. Some places are just special.
Pretty sick, dude. Honestly, really good fucking video.
You are a volunteer,
Mhm.
and you're working clearly very hard to keep this structure, but also the fire lookout tradition
Yeah.
going.
This guy's a volunteer?
How would you say it's important to preserve the lookouts and the lookout tradition?
I think the answer I would give is similar to I've worked on a couple of cabins that were restored. And it's one thing to read the account of the homesteader, but it's another thing to stand on their front porch and look out at their orchard and hear their words. And if the lookout wasn't here, you can read about it, but it wouldn't be the tangible experience of being in a lookout and being welcomed in it to see what life would be like for a few minutes to just stand here and take it in.
Dude, goddamn. Honestly, slay.